The skies over Earth turned black without warning. Satellites vanished, power grids collapsed. Cities across the globe lost contact with each other. People ran through the streets, looking at the sky, terrified. No one knew what was happening, only that something massive and silent was coming. In orbit, the last Earth station caught a glimpse. Dozens of alien ships, dark and sharp like floating knives, heading straight for the planet. Earth sent out a universal distress call. It reached every known system, every galactic race. "This is Earth," the message said. "We are under attack. We need help. Please. Anyone." They waited. No reply came. In an underground bunker near Geneva, Commander Rhea Holt listened to the silence. She stared at the blank monitor, fists clenched. Earth's allies had turned away. The Council had abandoned them. A single tear rolled down her cheek, then her voice hardened. "If no one's coming to save us," she whispered, "then we'll save ourselves." Outside, alien ships began descending into Earth's atmosphere. And humanity's darkest hour had just begun. The skies were no longer blue. Earth had become a battlefield, burning cities, crashing satellites, and endless fear. But deep beneath the surface, far below the smoldering ruins of old Geneva, something ancient had awakened. The Ghostfire, a secret human warship, decades ahead of its time, was finally ready. Built with stealth tech, a rogue AI mind, and weapons Earth's enemies had never seen, it had been hidden from everyone, even Earth's leaders. Commander Rhea Holt stood at its helm. Beside her, a mismatched crew of soldiers, hackers, engineers, everyone who still had fight in them. Their first mission wasn't to win, it was to survive and strike back. Target: a small alien outpost orbiting Jupiter's dead moon, Ilara. They attacked fast. No warning. Ghostfire appeared from nowhere, disabling the outpost shields in seconds. Rhea led the boarding team herself. Inside, they didn't find warriors. They found computers, data, plans, and a message in the alien language, translated by the ship's AI. Test phase. Humanity's response is being measured. A test. Earth was never the target. It was an experiment. Rhea stared at the screen. Her voice was ice. "They wanted to see if we'd fight. Let's give them their answer." The Ghostfire disappeared into the black, leaving behind a destroyed outpost and a warning. Humanity was no longer waiting. It was hunting. The stolen files from the Ilara outpost revealed something worse than invasion. Commander Rhea Holt stood alone in the Ghostfire's dim war room, watching holograms scroll around her. Battle maps, intercepted transmissions, council orders. She read them in silence. The truth felt like a knife twisting in her chest. The Galactic Council knew Earth was going to be attacked. They had predicted it years ago. Instead of warning humanity, they classified the threat, then erased all diplomatic records with Earth. They had chosen to let Earth burn. "Too volatile," one memo said. "Not strategically important," said another. Earth had been sacrificed to keep the peace elsewhere. Rhea slammed her fist into the console. The crew stared in disbelief as she showed them the evidence. Even those who still believed in the Council fell silent. But the shock wasn't over. The Ghostfire's AI detected something strange. Encrypted transmissions coming from inside the ship. Someone was sending information to the enemy. There was a traitor on board. Security lockdowns slammed into place. Everyone was scanned, interrogated. And then it happened. During a routine system check, the ship's main reactor began to overload, set to explode. The crew scrambled to shut it down. Only Rhea noticed the one person missing from the room, Lieutenant Varick, a former council liaison. They found him near the core, trying to finish the sabotage. He didn't fight back. He just looked at Rhea and said, "You weren't meant to survive this war. No human was." And then he triggered a failsafe, vanishing in a flash of light, beamed away by an alien ship hiding beyond the Ghostfire's sensors. Someone in the galaxy still wanted Earth gone, but now Earth knew who they were, and they would never be safe again. The Ghostfire flew toward the last flicker of hope, Titan colony orbiting Saturn's largest moon. It was humanity's oldest off-world base, and Admiral Kairos, its commander, had answered Rhea's signal. But when the Ghostfire arrived, they found Titan surrounded by enemy warships. The skies above the icy moon were burning. Inside the command bridge, Rhea stood frozen. The transmission from Kairos was brief. "We've got wounded everywhere. Supplies are gone, they're breaking through. If you don't help us now, we're finished." Ghostfire had only one working weapon system left after the sabotage. If they engaged the enemy, the ship might not survive. But if they turned away, Titan would fall. The crew looked at Rhea. No one spoke. They didn't have to. "Full power to weapons," she said. "We don't run. Not today." The Ghostfire charged into the heart of the battle, using its stealth systems and unpredictable maneuvers. It ripped through the enemy formation. Rhea led a drop team to the surface, dragging wounded soldiers from collapsed bunkers, taking fire every step of the way. When she finally reached Kairos, his armor was cracked and his face was covered in blood. He looked at her, smiled weakly, and said, "Still fighting your way through the galaxy, Commander?" She didn't smile back. "We're not fighting anymore," she said. "We're starting something bigger." The battle ended with heavy losses, but Titan was saved. And when news of the rescue reached other colonies, something changed. Small rebel groups, forgotten, scattered, started to rise again. Rhea Holt wasn't just a commander anymore. She had become a signal, a symbol that Earth was still alive and refusing to kneel. Titan's rescue became more than a victory. It became a message. All across the broken colonies, hidden humans heard it. On the mining moons of Alpha Centauri, inside the prison domes of Eos 9, in the underground cities of Mars, survivors, rebels, ex-soldiers, they all saw the footage. The Ghostfire diving through enemy fire. Commander Rhea Holt carrying a wounded child out of a burning corridor, and one line broadcast across hacked council channels: "Earth does not surrender." Within days, resistance cells began to reawaken. They weren't armies. They were farmers with old rifles, engineers who built bombs out of scrap, children who knew how to hide in tunnels. They had no fleets yet, but they had belief again. In a dark hangar on a frozen moon, a mechanic named Solon painted the Ghostfire's symbol onto a stolen drone fighter. On the edge of the Kuiper Belt, a band of pirates swore loyalty to Earth's cause. Even some alien factions, oppressed by the same council, started sending coded signals. Not alliances yet, but interest. Back aboard the Ghostfire, Rhea stared out at the stars. A dozen rebel leaders appeared on her holocom. "We want to fight," said one, "but we need more than a hero. We need a leader." She didn't want it. But Earth needed more than survival. It needed direction. It needed revenge. Rhea nodded slowly. "Then let's take back everything they stole." Humanity wasn't united yet, but it had a purpose now, and the galaxy was starting to feel it. The Ghostfire had become more than a ship. It was now the beating heart of a growing rebellion. But even hearts can bleed. As the crew expanded, bringing in new fighters and engineers from Titan and Mars, something began to feel wrong. System glitches, delays in fuel supply, navigation errors that almost led them into traps. Too many accidents, too many close calls. Commander Rhea Holt knew better than to believe in coincidence. Late one night cycle, the AI, codenamed Shade, found a pattern in the data. The sabotage wasn't random. Someone was feeding enemy fleets exact coordinates of Ghostfire's movements. Again. But Varric, the traitor from before, was dead. Or gone. So who else? Rhea initiated silent protocol scans. Crew members were shadowed. Secret logs were reviewed. And then, during a cargo transfer near a rebel moon base, it happened. The Ghostfire's armory exploded. 3 crew members were killed. Survivors said they saw someone leave the blast zone seconds before it happened. Security footage revealed her. Lieutenant Sarah Lynn, Rhea's own second-in-command, trusted, brilliant, quiet. She didn't resist arrest. She didn't flinch when Rhea confronted her. She only spoke one sentence. "The Council didn't plant me. You did this to yourself." Sarah revealed the truth. Brutal, cold. Her brother had died during Earth's early retaliations. A misfire from a resistance drone, and no one ever answered for it. "I wanted to believe in this cause," she said, "but all I see is another war built on fire and lies." Then she triggered a failsafe, one that jammed Ghostfire's entire communication network. Outside the ship, unknown vessels began closing in. Whoever was behind Sarah had just found them. The Ghostfire was drifting, blinded, cut off, hunted. Enemy ships scanned from a distance, waiting to strike. Commander Rhea Holt stood in the darkened command deck, rage and pressure boiling beneath her calm voice. Sarah Lynn was locked in the brig, but the damage was done. And then, through static and interference, Shade, the AI, whispered something into Rhea's ear. "I found something, buried under old Earth protocols, Project Ether." "What is it?" Rhea asked. The AI paused. "A weapon, not in orbit, inside Earth." Shade revealed classified files, a last resort device buried in Earth's core, hidden, since the early colonization era. Ether was never meant to be used. It could send a gravitational shockwave powerful enough to destroy orbital fleets, or fracture entire regions of space. It would cost lives, civilian lives. But the enemy fleet above Earth was growing. The Council had declared open war. They had called Earth a threat to universal peace. Earth had hours, maybe minutes. The crew was divided. Some begged Rhea to use the weapon. Others said it would make Earth no better than the Council. Rhea walked through the Ghostfire in silence. Past the injured. Past the young fighters trying to hold it together, past the data screens showing Earth's orbit filling with hostile ships. She remembered the silence from the day Earth cried for help, and no one answered. Now the galaxy had to listen. She returned to the command deck. Her voice was steady. "Activate Ether. Let them see what happens when you corner humanity." Moments later, the surface of Earth trembled. The clouds above parted, and in orbit, fire rained upward. The ether shock tore through Earth's orbit like a living storm. Hundreds of Council warships destroyed in seconds. The rest fled, scattering into deep space like frightened insects. Even their commanders hadn't believed Earth had the power to strike like that. Now they knew. Across the galaxy, news of Earth's retaliation spread like wildfire. Footage leaked, Council fleets falling, the sky above Earth glowing red. Some alien species fell silent in shock. Others started listening. Messages came in, small at first, curious, cautious, then stronger, angry, inspired. "We thought Earth was broken. We thought you were gone. You stood alone, and won." Rhea stood aboard the Ghostfire, listening to the dozens of transmissions flooding in, from a warrior tribe on the edge of the Varkan Reach, from a slave colony in the Dracor mines, from a Council ambassador asking for negotiation. But Rhea didn't reply. Not yet. The crew was repairing the Ghostfire. Refugees were arriving, humans from old colonies, aliens who had fled council law. They came because Earth had done the unthinkable. It had survived and struck back. And now, they wanted to join. Inside the war room, Shade displayed a map of the galaxy. Areas once dominated by council influence were lighting up with red signals. Rebellion, resistance, hope. The galaxy had looked away. It had let Earth burn, but now Earth was the fire. And the galaxy was finally looking again, this time with fear. They came in peace. At least, that's what they claimed. 3 council dreadnoughts arrived near Saturn's orbit, broadcasting white flag signals and peace codes in over 50 languages. Their message was clear. Let's talk. We seek resolution. This war can still be avoided. Commander Rhea Holt didn't trust them, but she met them anyway, on neutral ground, aboard the orbital platform Echelon Red, floating between Jupiter and Saturn. She wore no armor, no weapons, just truth. The lead ambassador, a creature wrapped in silk and silver breath masks, bowed deeply. Earth has made its point, it said. Now let us restore balance. Rhea said nothing for a long time. Then, she leaned forward and whispered, "There is no balance anymore. You turned away. You let us die. Now, you want forgiveness?" They offered credits, trade deals, a symbolic council seat. She rejected it all, but the council hadn't come to bargain. They had come to stall. At that exact moment, a hidden fleet uncloaked near Mars, armed with a new type of planetary destabilizer. It aimed straight for Earth. A final strike to end the problem they still hadn't learned. But Rhea had expected betrayal. The Ghostfire was already there, waiting, cloaked and ready. The rebel fleet struck like a blade from the shadows, shredding the council ambush in under 10 minutes. No mercy. No prisoners. Back aboard Echelon Red, the ambassadors panicked. This was a mistake, they said. Rhea turned her back on them. "No," she said, "your mistake was thinking we'd still be begging." She walked out. Behind her, the meeting chamber sealed shut, and the fire that once only burned on Earth was now spreading through the stars. The stars were no longer silent. The rebellion had grown into something bigger, a movement that stretched from asteroid belts to alien moons. Earth was no longer just a target. It was a rallying point, a symbol, a warning, and now it was time to end the war. The Council homeworld, Zeroth Prime, sat at the heart of a fortified system. 10 defense rings, thousands of warships. No one had ever attacked it. No one had even dared. Until now. Commander Rhea Holt stood on the bridge of the Ghostfire, staring at the holographic battlefield. Around her, ships from 50 rebel factions blinked into formation. Human war cruisers, pirate skiffs, converted, mining freighters. Even alien warbands who had once hunted humans now flew Earth's crimson emblem. Shade, the AI, spoke quietly. "We are ready." They didn't sneak in. They didn't ask permission. They came in force. The Council broadcast warnings, threats, pleas. Rhea answered with one final message. "You watched us burn. You buried our name. Now, watch us rise." The battle that followed shook the void itself. The Council's elite fleets fell one by one. Their ringed defense stations cracked apart by rebel bombs. The sky above Zeroth Prime turned red, then black. On the surface, people fled their towers and temples, and at last, Earth's flag was raised on the Council's own citadel. Rhea didn't sit on their throne. She destroyed it. "No more rulers," she said, "no more silence." Across the galaxy, the message spread. Earth had taken back its voice, not just for itself, but for every world that had ever been ignored. The day the galaxy looked away, humanity answered, and now the galaxy would never look away again.